All right, welcome back to another episode of In the Green Bets.
Howdy.
Back for the Players Championship, big one this week. Good week for both of us last week. I was in the green, won a couple units. Could have been a little bit better with Vic coming through. Obviously, that would have been a lot better. Would have been second outright of the year, but Scotty Scheffler had some stones and held on in pretty difficult conditions.
Yeah, I went from a great week to a good week, so it's hard to complain. I think I won like 4 units, which is fine. When you finish it out, but I had a chance to go double digits. Creep up there into the 15 range, which would have been awesome with the margin win and a Vic. So, but it happens. Obviously, good for Scotty Scheffler. He's opened the floodgates, as someone's saying, as a lot of people have predicted that when he gets a win, he's going to be that type of guy. Obviously, we shouldn't expect him to win every other event that he plays, but he obviously knows what to do. And I think maybe the weather and the conditions maybe helped him out a little bit this last weekend.
Yeah. He just kind of, I don't know, his game just kind of suits for the tough conditions. And
yeah,
I mean, I had live bet Gary at 100-1 on Saturday, so that hurt a little. He goes eagle from like off the planet and then immediately doubles, and it's like, oh, that was fun while it lasted. So, could have been an awesome week if Vic came through because we were both on him and we both cleared our card anyway. So
our 20s and 30s were unbelievable. Like they were really, really good. I went all my money in the 20s and 30s. I think I went like 3 for 4 on top 20s, which was crazy.
Yeah, I hit 3 top 20s and a 30, and I went 3 and 2 on matchups. It was a good week for matchups.
Victor versus Scheffler was my matchup. I lost a matchup with the guy who got second.
Yeah, you got screwed there. That is
unbelievable,
exceedingly tough. But we're on Players Championship, big event. I hit JT last year at 20-1, one of the handful of outrights I hit last year. Last year was a tough year, quite frankly, outright. So that I really, really needed that. When at the time I remember thinking like, I need him to just keep these balls out of the water, come down the stretch. So we'll see this week. TPC Sawgrass in March. This is the third year that it's been in March instead of May. Plays a little softer, plays a little harder. The harder in the sense that the course plays harder. The grass and the conditions are softer. So balls are more likely to be in the fairway, but plays a lot longer because you just don't get to roll out. This tournament has produced some serious chalk over the years, particularly the two March events, Rory and JT. Lee Westwood and Bryson contended also. Bryson was chalk too. So, but if you look at the leaderboards the last couple of years, it has been flushers only. I tweeted that out at Nagels Bagels today. It's just ball striker after ball striker and some good putters on there as well. Some really good Bermuda putters. So I'll be mainly focused on ball striking. It just, I saw Justin Ray tweeted the average like ball striking strokes gained here is like way higher than everyone else in terms of its correlation to the finish.
Outside of Harmon, who surprisingly does well here at this course, there's a ton of guys who can really, really hit it. Do you remember Bryson topping his wood off the tee here?
I remember vividly because I had JT who was kind of coming from behind with those guys, and I was like, "Oh, we got a real chance here."
I hit Doug Gim here last year, also another ball striker type guy who
he had a literal vomit on the golf course almost last year. I think he made a quad on like 10, but he finished pretty well still.
Yeah, one of those guys this was a big finish for him last year is Taylor Gooch. And now he's been playing well. Obviously was really, really into it in last Sunday. Has got a win since then, a ton of really good finishes. He'll be a guy that we could have this year. Lowry Connors, right? Ball striker, the one of only Corey Connors. So I agree. It's just going to be a bunch of guys who can really hit it. And if JT putts well, he might even be the first one to back it.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of analysis for me this week other than, you got to score on par fives because there's a bunch of tough par fours. B, your ball striking has to be elite. And basically it's like who putts good of all the elite ball strikers. And I don't even think JT putted like that great last year. He just was like flushing it. Absolutely like tee to green monster. So that's it for me. Ball strikers.
I used a
And
Fantasy
guys who are
National.
in form right now.
Oh yeah, I used a Fantasy National like model category that I've never used ever. Can you think you can guess what it is?
No, because I
Double
use
avoidance. Not only bogey,
oh
but double avoidance.
they should have a like a penalties
Yeah.
avoidance or like a penalties gained, like where it tells you how many times these guys hit it in the freaking water, that type of thing. Because that's
Yeah,
kind
but
of what that is.
the scoring is going to be pretty. I mean, it's not going to be low. Well, I don't know, depending on the weather. But, we've seen 14, 16, 18. Those are the last three scores here. Won't quite probably be like last week, but depending on weather, also we've got to kind of look at.
Supposed to
We
be
could
some shitty weather.
we could see some lift clean in place if that happened. That could bring the scores up. So I don't know.
Rory definitely gets live if we start playing lift clean in place. That dude
Right.
he's made a freaking $1 million in lift clean in place tournaments over his least.
So yeah, if we can get lucky and not have crazy weather, which I don't know. I mean, it's hard to predict.
It's supposed to
predict on Tuesday or whatever. But
well, and like there's a difference between playing in the rain and like if these are thunderstorms, they'll just not be playing. Like
right.
if you have to play in the rain, obviously that sucks and that just throws a whole wrench into stuff. But if you're just not out there because thunderstorm and it's just playing soft, then it doesn't really change a lot. But it's supposed to be super windy on Saturday afternoon and Sunday, so obviously that'll come into play.
It'll be a little different than last week in the sense that Matthew Fitzpatrick made like 4 birdies and he finished like 9th, like over the entire weekend. So that won't be quite the case, but it'll be fun. Huge purse. We need to kind of hit on
Monster
that
purse
when we do our one and dones, because I might have the number 1 player in the world as my one and done this week.
Yeah, this is a monster purse. It's the biggest purse. It's bigger than all the majors. So, everyone's live for this. But
let's start at the top.
Let's jump into the outright market. I'm going up top. We've seen some serious chalk over the years. Now, you'll get some weird ones certainly every now and then, but we've seen chalk top of the leaderboard this week. JT and Rom both up there. This is where I started my card right here. Colin Morikawa 16-1. I knew I was going somewhere up high. I tossed around Rory because he's awesome in soft conditions, and obviously he's been playing awesome. You go look at his finishes; he is playing really, really well. He's just kind of not one round type of deal, which he was doing last year also. But Morikawa is he takes down big events. He's got a WGC and 2 majors in like 2.5 years, and he got to play here for the first time last year, I think, and 16-1, whatever. I'll just pay it and figure out the rest of my card later.
So Rom is 12 on Rivers. I can't decide whether I'm going to actually bet it or not, but it's highlighted for me right now. And then I would skip down to Cantlay at 20.
I think you can do better than Cantlay. I think you can do better than 20.
Oh. Let me look. He's 20 on both I got here, but maybe FanDuel.
21 on FanDuel.
Okay.
There was a 27 on Sunday night. I talked to you about betting it. I did place a couple bets Sunday night, but that was not one of them. Probably should have done that. But for me, at the top, you can't go wrong with any of those guys, in my opinion. I would stay away from Scheffler, just based off. Is he really going to rip off 3 out of 5 and back-to-back monster events? Probably not. So, and that number, I'm just not a huge fan. So, I went from Morikawa down to Xander. I got him at 28 at a different book. I know I've been heartbroken by Xander. Literally countless times at this point. I would hate to go back and count how many times he's finished top 5 when I bet him outright, but I couldn't pass up 28, and it was between him and Decky for me at that range.
How do you feel about the Hovland thing? Is he going to be a little less played because of how he's been finishing here recently? Like he's not really coming through with wins?
I don't know. That's a very good question, because if he would have been 26, I probably would have just hopped right back in and just said, ball striker. He was freaking lights out ball striking last week, and he might have been in a playoff if that ball bounces forward instead of just sticks in the fringe on 18 because it was straight at it. So I don't know. I do think he'll be a little bit low owned in terms of out or not low owned, but like the handle won't be quite as high because people are going to move on to guys who can close, and he hasn't
Yeah.
proven in big events that he can really close.
I'm not going to join you with Xander. Unfortunately, I will be very happy for you if he wins. But
I appreciate that.
Xander Schauffele is not coming through at the end of this golf tournament if he's in contention. I would much rather take Adam Scott at like 30, who's right behind him, and hope Ori Berger at 30. I don't know, Brooks at 35. I'm going to skip the Xander number.
Well, look, it was not even a month ago at Phoenix that pretty sure there's receipts out there on our show where I said I'm exiting the Xander Schauffele experience, but damn, you put him at 28 in a ball striking event. I just can't. I can't not do it. So, Xander, I'm ready to be heard again. The other two bets that I did Sunday are the two guys you just mentioned, Berger and Brooks. I bet them both at 41 to 1. Those numbers make absolutely no sense to me. There's zero reason Adam Scott and Cam Smith should be above them.
Oh yeah, hell no, especially Brooks.
3.6 million. Brooks likes money. I promise you that. And Berger's been playing freaking awesome. His ball striking numbers are outrageous.
Brooks likes to flex that he wins big events. Like that's his thing, right? Like that's been his kind of his brand forever. Like I don't care. I win big events. You can say whatever you want. This is a big event. Like and I know it's like the purse is crazy. I don't really understand the people complain about the purse because the Players is trying to be a major. So there's only one way to make it important is bump the money up. Like that's the most obvious thing to do ever. So to get people to show up. So I think it's just a big event. It's not a major, but it is a big event. And Brooks is going to have all the motivation in the world to do it because he wants to win those fields where it's like super stacked. He wants to look at the next guy in the locker and be like, I beat all you motherfuckers.
Yeah. I just pulled up FanDuel here. Adam Scott's 55 on FanDuel, and we just saw him at 30 on DraftKings. Yeah. Shop the shit out of the numbers this week because they are all over the joint. Like some of the this middle range of guys, which is where we try to bet the most every week, is you can just get way different numbers. Yeah, I bet
Sungjae.
Yeah, this 48 on Sungjae is an excellent number. I almost went there, but since I went way up top, instead of being overexposed, I just kind of took a couple longer shot guys. But for me, the guys I didn't bet that I thought about, Fitzpatrick, I think I saw him at 39 somewhere. He is playing better than anyone on the whole earth right now that hasn't won. Sungjae, I saw Horschel at like 70. I thought about that. I did bet Sam Burns at 60, ball striker on Bermuda. I'll just take my chance at 60. And then I bet Max Homa at 80. His ball striking numbers have been very good, been putting a lot better. So I don't have any problem with that. I don't mind Jason Day even. I don't mind Louis at that number. There's a lot of places to go, but there's so much talent at the top that it's really, really hard to think one of these guys is going to, win. But
yeah, DK right here has Sungjae at 50, which will be the number that I will be betting for sure on that. I like the Louis idea at 55. I just not sure. The Louis experience is what it is. Like he's going to get third or whatever.
I was going to say, yeah, you better put a top 5 with it so you're not so fully disappointed.
There's one guy with elite talent in the lower end of that group that we kind of skipped over, Dustin Johnson. I know he hasn't really proven anything, but 35 to 1?
Normally that'd be auto click, but he has not been good here. And he's kind of admitted that he doesn't really like the course. So normally that's auto click. I don't give a shit how bad he's playing. Like you bet DJ at 30 something, but not at this course. I hope he plays like shit again, quite frankly, so that we can play him in a course that makes, that he gets dropped at 30 at some course that he's just going to dominate. So yeah, I wouldn't go, honestly, I would not go past like 75 or 80.
My next click, I think, would be Jason Day at 90. I was completely off of him because I thought his thing was injury related. Then I found out his mother died.
Yeah, he kind of talked some shit on him.
I know, which is so sad, and it was heartbreaking. But at the same, it kind of made me a little rejuvenated. Like, oh,
Yeah,
Like that obviously
got something to
sucks
play
for
for.
that's terrible news. But he seems like he's still healthy, right? We can kind of keep that thing going. And as far as golf goes, he should be
Show some
live at
form.
a number like 90. Yeah.
It was between him and Homa for me, honestly. And I didn't like the fact that he's been off for like 5 weeks now. So this
Finau
might
at
be a little.
80 is interesting. He's
I
dropping like
tried that
crazy.
shit wherever a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, Finau shouldn't be 60. I'll bet him. Fuck, what a waste of money. So, just have to mention 2 seconds. Patrick Reed, DK has him at 250. I cannot tell you not to bet him. I bet him on an each 7 place each way on Rivers at 175 to 1, only because, like, look, he has showed no form in the past and then showed up and played awesome. He's played good here in the past, so what the hell? I've spent money on way worse things than a Patrick Reed number like that. But he's
I'm
playing awful.
I'm betting the 250. I'm not even taking the each ways. I don't give a shit. I'm taking 250 to 1. And when he wins, it's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be he'll probably miss I mean, he's definitely missing the cut, but
Well, you could hedge that with a miscut bet.
ooh, I kind of
Although
like that.
hedging and outright is like, he could finish anywhere from second to 60th, and that you just lose money. But
The other long shot I wanted to mention, and he'll come up later in my best bets, Joel Damon at 250, but I'll wait to give my thing later.
all right, derivatives. Let's talk about some derivatives.
Yeah.
To me, okay, I have a 2-second announcement. I'm done with top tens for the time being.
Forever.
A little self audit today. Kind of getting massacred in the top 10 market. Only really been close a couple times. I'm out on top tens. So going forward, 20s, 30s, and 40s, absolutely. Top tens, no way.
Let's skip over talking about them because I didn't bet them last week and I was plussing again, so I might just ride the wave and keep it going.
Yeah. So 20s, all kinds of value in my opinion. Obviously loaded field, so it's exponentially harder to get in the top 20. But Zalatoris 185, Horschel 185, Adam Scott, all these guys were mentioned.
Sungjae 2 to 1.
Sungjae, Gooch, Adam Scott, Corey Connors, Homa, Chris Kirk, Sam Burns. Like, there's too many, and trying to pick out the ones that actually will bring it this week is tough. But
could Justin Rose play well this weekend?
I'm not a Justin Rose guy. I'm the opposite of a Justin Rose whisperer. I lost a matchup to him last week and he shot 4 over. He missed a cut by like 3, and I lost the matchup. So Cam Young plus 360. I will be back in on that. Gary Woodland, I honestly might be back in. I have to look a little closer at his ball striking numbers the last couple of weeks. Leishman, Paul Casey. There's a shitload of guys that I don't have any problem betting. Kokrak 6 to 1. His form wasn't that bad. Sebastian Munoz is a guy that I'll probably play in like 30s or 40s. His form is very good. He's made a ton of cuts. Lanto Griffin, same thing. Good Bermuda putter. Has made like 10 cuts in a row. Those would be kind of my bombs. Other than that, like I said, that the 180 to 275 range is where I usually, go after.
Yeah, we have a Pete Dye specialist at Abe Answer at 250.
I love that.
That would be one. If you want to ride the Billy Horschel wave, continue. Also, we forgot to mention that I didn't use him on my one and done, and then he got second. So I pretty much jinxed him. I should have known. Like, just take him because that's how it's going to work. But I didn't. I took Rory, and he still cashed. He cashed me like $200K, but whatever.
I took Leishman. He made the cut and got $0. How the fuck does that happen?
We honestly could just bet the same guys, which is kind of funny. Like Cameron Young, we might as well just throw him on the card every week.
Cam Young's on the card 100%.
He's 4 to 1, top 20. Hoagie 450. I told you I liked his ball striking. Obviously, it's a little inflated with the win, but he's been fine. I think there's a lot of value in these 20s, and I would even jump them to the 30s with some of these longer guys.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kokrak and Munoz for like 30s. Both of those guys I like. Lanto, I mentioned. Joel Damon is he's like 7 to 1 for a top 20. Yep. There's some really, really interesting guys.
Martin Laird, who's cashed me like 3 weeks in a row.
Laird will be although he is he shot like 80 on Sunday, and I did not cash last week because of him. So You know, we'll see in that category.
Right.
Head-to-heads. Have you looked through head-to-heads?
Not a ton, but I can bring a poem up right now. I know, like, I think this is honestly like a pretty boring. Like, as far as like, I'm gonna pick a lot of similar type guys this week. Like, I don't. The course is gonna demand certain things, like we've talked about. I'm not gonna get too crazy. I'm gonna pick guys who can really ball strike and who have a chance to compete on the greens. I don't think there's much of like a secret formula this week.
No, I see one here. Spieth over Fleetwood. I know Fleetwood played good last week, but Spieth's in pretty good form. It's not necessarily his course, but I do prefer it if it gets kind of weird and nasty and wet. He putts awesome, so I like that. What do you think about Sungjae over Horschel? I know Horschel's been playing great, but Sungjae's the underdog in that matchup. He's even money. I mean, Horschel does this thing a lot, but he's been playing so good that it's kind of hard to say he's going to choke again.
Yeah, it's hard because I think his game. He seems like a pretty mental guy, and I feel like he's pretty confident right
He's
now.
definitely got some mental shit going on, that's for sure.
But I think he plays like on that like mental wave, right? Like if he's confident, he's playing well. If he's not, he's kind of messing up. He's talking to his ball. You can hear him talk on the green constantly when you watch the TV. So it's like I don't know. I don't really know if I'd mess with him when he's playing so confident.
Yeah, I did win the Rory Rahm matchup, and I may go back to the JT or Rahm this week, depending on the numbers I can find. Although there's some weird stat about past champions just like absolutely suck the next year. There's been like one top 10 in like the last 15 years. I have no idea why. Seems like maybe the tournament is making them do too much shit the week of the tournament. They have no time to prep. I don't know if that's it, but that's
like
very
JT's
odd.
been there for the whole week doing stuff. You're saying,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's going to be the same guys. It's hard to fade. Morikawa over Scheffler. I'll probably bet that.
Does Sergio scare us or no? Fitzpatrick minus 120 over Sergio.
No, Fitzpatrick's playing so good. Sergio is kind of all over the place. So I definitely like that for sure.
Spieth and Fleetwood are both the same odds, juiced down to 110.
That's when I said Spieth over Fleetwood.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. I agree. Tom Hoagie minus 140 versus Mackenzie Hughes. Just take Mackenzie Hughes with the plus money. Like, why in the world would you ever bet the other side of that?
Mackenzie Hughes is like sometimes he just putts amazing and it doesn't matter what happens.
His short game, he was on my list today, the Tuesday, name thread. He was like fourth on my short game list, which was nice. So you never know.
All right. Specials.
Oh,
assuming you're back to the margins. What's your margin?
Hey, the margins. I think we've had what, 4 shows or 5 shows. I've only lost one margin the whole time. So
this is show 6. So yeah.
Yeah, so I've been 4-1, which is great. We're not going playoff. We're not going playoff. I was looking at the history. It doesn't seem to finish. We had a couple actually that were like pretty big margins, but we're going to stick with what it always is or what we love to do, and that's 1 stroke, 2 stroke. Pretty boring, but I mean, it's been cashing. So it's been always that like cherry on top at the end of the week, which is very nice. And I'm going to add it again this week.
Yeah. I mean, they've just been cashing. Just keep riding them.
And the hard conditions give you the opportunity for the 2. Like you always have that chance at like the 354.
Right. I do think there's some live miss the cut bets if you can find them, because this course, if you're playing well, you can make birdies, you can play well, but if you're missing it, it like really punishes you because there's a lot of places to get penalties, and if you're in the rough and you're like trying to make up shit, you will make mistakes. So if you can get one of the more top guys who maybe isn't in great form, or you just have a feel that's hey, I don't think he's going to play well this week. There's definitely some of those top guys will 100% miss the cut.
Yeah, they've pushed them down a little bit. It's not necessarily like normal where you get like 4, but yeah, there are some really good. Like JT, if you want to go that narrative where you're talking about with the past winner, he's 350.
Scotty Scheffler plus 275. I am a fade the winner thing, but like that has not worked out well the last few times. But
so what is yours going to be?
I would say I like I don't mind Sergio plus 175. Something like that. But one and done. You mentioned this for a sec earlier. Where are you headed?
I think it's going to be Rahm. If he putts well, it's going to be like, I don't know why not.
His ball striking has been like fucking like elite, and it's just been his putter. It's literally been his putter for like whatever. He's number one in approach. He's number one in off the tee. Number one ball striking. Second opportunities gained. Number one in par fours. 11th in fairways gained. He is just absolutely on fire. Other than his putter, he's lost at least 2 strokes putting in 3 straight events. His worst finish is 21st. That's so good.
I saw he was also notified, and he said he didn't know that he could lose status as number one.
Yeah, Morikawa can catch
him.
It's
Morikawa, right? Yeah, so maybe that's like a little motivation. The other one would be Cantlay, but either way, it's I'm sticking to the top. So I don't, there's no hesitation there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Rory. You give me Rory in a wet lift, clean in place. Of course, he's been really good at. I'll take it. He just could just bomb. He's been playing very good. He can just bomb it all over, and the ball will just stop where he hits his driver. And he's 20 yards ahead of everyone else. So then he's hitting wedges. All those wedges have been not great, but like 13th, 10th, 1st, 14th, 4th. Those are his last 5 finishes. So he's good. I'm sure it will suck because I just keep getting absolutely fucked in one and done. I have no idea what the hell's going on. I find him. Leishman was in 20th at the cut. He was literally in 20th and got 67th or whatever, which pays you $0. So I have no idea. I don't know. Rory is at the top of my list for sure. It's going to be one of the like big 4 or 5 guys though, without a doubt.
You might get lucky because he seemed kind of pissed off on the conditions last week. They're claiming that
course conditions. He's going to get shit weather conditions this weekend.
Right, saying that the course conditions, saying that nothing was getting rewarded. He'll get a little more rewarded for good shots this week. I agree, but you're struggling. I don't have much to say on that, but you're just bad luck.
It is. It really is. And that's kind of all of a sudden, but if Rory wins this week, like that's $3.6 million, I'm probably in the top 20.
Well, I can go look, but yeah.
Best bet, I'll go first. Adam Scott, top 20, plus 210. Course history is unbelievable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top 20s in his career, 2 other top 30s. Playing super good golf. Aussies, those guys play good in wind. He's been a good wind player over the years. Plus 210 is a really good number for a guy in good form at a course that he's been really, really good at.
Yeah. I like it. It's honestly like he's been ramping up for the weekends like this, so that's kind of a good thing.
He's been putting his balls off too.
If you want to get really crazy, you use him for your one and done, but that's up to you.
That ain't happening. He lost 4 strokes on approach last week, so it was just his putter that kept him in it. But it's hard to take much from that course last week. So
yeah, I like it. Like I said, I already said I liked his outright number, so I'm good with you there. I think I can contend. I'm going to do a little bit deeper. I'm going top 40 on Damon at 230. Let me pull this up for you real quick.
This is a very good number. You do not get plus 200 something on top 40s of guys who like have legit ball striking.
So I put out the thing, and it was tee to green at the course, and he just randomly popped. So I'm like, what the hell? Go to do some digging. Played it twice. First year gets finishes 12th. And he was plus on the greens. He was plus 1.7. The next year misses the cut, but it's gaining on approach, gaining off the tee, gaining around the greens, and missed and lost 5-stroke putting. I throw that out completely. I'm just using that as 0 right now, and then whatever luck does goes up or down. So I'm going to take the number, use the 40 to my advantage. I hate betting 40s actually, so I might have to change that to 30 just based on my principles. But a lot of places, good value on a guy who's he's way better than that number right there.
Yeah, he just got to get the putter figured out. He lost 6.7 at Genesis. He lost $1 million here last year. his ball striking is there. His tee to green game is there. He just if he can get the putter kind of figured out, and I think you saw somewhere that maybe he went and got a putting lesson. Typically, the week after your putting lesson, it's at least some kind of bump. So,
yeah, putting can. I don't care if you're good or bad. It doesn't matter to me. If you can get there, then we'll especially in a place like this, then I'll take it and go from there.
All right. Well, that's going to be it this week. My card will probably be out tonight or in the morning, and we'll see. Let's win some more bets.
Yeah, I like it. I think this is what we've only had 1 week bad, so
Genesis.
we got to keep this streak alive. Big money. Ron's going to win me so much, and this is going to set me up maybe first in the one. Although he's going to be probably pretty highly owned, but
yeah, that will be interesting. Ownership percentage in the one and done this week for sure.
Stick to the top guys and don't bet Willie Z. Bet Patrick Reed instead.
All right, peace out.